Well, welcome back to my channel. So I know I have not posted in a while. Please forgive me. But today I am very excited to share some new content I have with you. So I want to start a series with y'all, and it's called Who is the God of the Bible? I feel like many times we Christians, we serve a God we do not know. Or we serve a God who isn't really God at all. It's a different type of God. We have this perverted or distorted image of who God is in our heads, and that's who we worship. And the thing about serving a God that we don't know is that it perverts our worship. Whether you know it or not, your worship will be perverted if you do not have the proper image of God. And many times we gain this image because of what society has told us, or even what the church has told us that is not even true. We have to be diligent in really searching the Bible and asking and praying, God, show me who you are, and He will reveal Himself to you. So I'm really excited to start this series with you because this is something I have struggled with personally. I've been reading this book called Delighting in the Trinity, and y'all, that book is bomb. Like, it really exposes how Christians see God in a way they shouldn't see God, see Him in a perverted, distorted image. And one way people tend to see God, or I know I've seen God, is the dictator God, the Stalin in the sky type God. And this is a God who basically, He's only there to punish you. He's waiting for you to break the rules so He can point out what you did wrong and punish you. And He's only here to tell you what to do and what you should or you shouldn't do. And this comes from looking at God from the standpoint of power. And don't get me wrong, God is powerful, yes. But to look at God as only powerful is wrong, because you miss it. And I'm going to read a quote from the book. And it says, "Perhaps you recall how, when Hitler used to speak about God, he called Him the Almighty." And one thing the book talked about is that once you refer to God, or once you only see God as the Almighty, you miss a key concept or a key point about God. And the reason why is because the Almighty means power. And just being powerful denotes authority, sovereignty, selfishness, and someone who doesn't really care about others. This type of God is kind of like an impersonal God. It's not a God you can have a relationship with. It's going to be hard for you to understand salvation. Like, why would this type of God save me? And it's going to be hard for you to understand that God loves you or God wants you to be His child. At most, the best relationship you'll have with this kind of God is a servant and a master type relationship, and not a son and a father type relationship. In the book, they talked about the God in the Babylonian culture, and how this God basically said He made humans just so the gods can have a workhouse. Basically, He made humans as slaves. That's all humans will ever be. And seeing God as just a dictator or Stalin, that's all you're gonna take from your relationship with God. A master, someone to point out something you did wrong, and you would never, or it'll be hard for you to have a father-son experience with Him. The next way people tend to see God as the ruler. And the book actually talked a little bit about this, and I'm actually gonna read it for you. "If God's very identity is to be the ruler, what kind of salvation can He offer me, if He's prepared to offer such a thing? If God is the ruler and the problem is that I have broken the rules, the only salvation He can offer is to forgive me and treat me as if I have kept the rules." Essentially, the ruler is just here to tell you what to do and enforce the rules. And the book actually likens this to a traffic cop. So basically, this is a quote from the book. "If some cop were to catch me speeding and so breaking the rules, I would be punished. And if, as never happens, he managed to spot me or I managed to shake him off after an exciting car chase, I would be relieved, but neither in any case would I love him. So basically, let's say you see a cop and the cop stops you for breaking the rules. And let's say the cop like lets you go. You know, you might be grateful, but that's all you feel. You won't love the cop. Like, you'll just be grateful. Like, okay, thank you. Another example of this is like a security guard or principal. I remember when I was in high school, my principal, they were trying to force the rules and all that. And I mean, I loved my principals. I mean, I guess I didn't hate them, but our relationship was just in I'm gonna do good so I won't get in trouble type thing. I'm not doing good. I'm not keeping the rules because I like them or because I don't want to hurt them. I'm only keeping the rules because I want to avoid punishment, basically. And many Christians live in that realm. They only follow God, or they serve God in a type of way where they just want to avoid punishment. Like, I just want to get out of hell. Like, salvation to them is literally just a get out of hell free card, or manage to keep the rules so you can get into heaven type thing. There's no relationship. There's no love. You are not serving God because you love him. You are serving God because you do not want to go to hell. And even in that type of relationship, when you get caught, as I said before, you're not remorseful or sorry because you offended someone you love. You're sorry because you know that you are going to get punished. You're sorry because you know that's what's expected of you. You're sorry because you know that's the right thing to do. And that's the problem the Israelites had. They didn't really understand the love of God. And if they understood the love of God, when they sin, they would have been repentant. And that's something David actually understood. Like, when he sinned against God, this man was crying, this man was sad, this man really understood what it meant to hurt somebody he loved. He wasn't just remorseful because he didn't want to get punished. He was remorseful because he hurt God, whom he loved. And that's supposed to be our posture. And if that's not your posture right now, you have to check yourself and see, how really do I see God? How is my relationship with God? And one thing is that I'm not saying that God isn't the ruler, or he isn't almighty or whatever. What I'm saying is that that's not the heart of who God is. So the next way people tend to see God is God as the creator. Basically, someone had to create the world. I'm gonna call that person God, and that's it. God is my creator. And you hear this from non-Christians and Christians alike. You know, there's a higher power, of course, that created the world. And, you know, that's basically it. And, yeah, God created the world. We know that. But one thing is that a relationship with just a creator, it's kind of hard to have. If there is a relationship between you and a creator, it's not going to be a very loving one. Salvation also, the concept of salvation will be hard to understand too. Because if God is just a creator, he doesn't need to save the world from sin. He can just destroy it and create a new one, because that's what he's good at doing. And this type of God is a distant God. He's a God that says, I created you, so you can just run around and do whatever you want. I don't want to be a part of your life. I don't need to be a part of your life. I don't need to be a part of your life. I'm in heaven, you're on earth. And that's basically it. And some Christians think of God this way. Christians and non-Christians alike. Like, they believe God does not want to be a part of their lives. They believe God doesn't really care about what's going on. And that is a lie. Like, God cares about every single part of us, every single thing. The kind of relationship you'll have with the creator would be the relationship a snake has with the babies. So basically, when the snake gives birth, they don't have any maternal instinct or whatever. So after laying the egg, they kind of abandon their young to kind of fend for themselves. And they kind of never return. And that's it. They just give birth and bounce. And that's basically it. And with a creator type God, most likely that's the kind of relationship you'll have with him. a God who just kind of created you to just run about and doesn't really care. And that's far, far from who God is. Because if God didn't care, he wouldn't have sent his son. And also like the dictator type God, it will be hard for you to have a father-son relationship with him. You would either have a servant-master relationship or a creator-creation relationship. So this brings me to my last point. Who is God? And I'm going to read John 17, verse 24. Father, I desire that they also, whom you have given me, may be with me where I am, to see the glory that you have given me, because you loved me before the foundation of the world. So we can pick two things from that verse. Basically, God is a father, and he has been loving before the foundation of the world. So that means before God was a creator, before he was a ruler, before he was the Almighty, he was a father loving his son. So all the other attributes of God are attributes, but they're not the core of his being. The core of God's being is fatherhood and love. And if you look at God from any other lens, you are not looking at the God of the Bible. You are looking at a different God, a perverted God, a distorted God, not the God that has revealed himself to us. And this is what we'll be dissecting in this series. I know for me personally, I have seen God as a dictator, as a ruler. And I'm not saying power is bad. That's not what I'm saying. But the thing is that when you have power with no sort of regulation, it can lead to corruption. When someone is all powerful with nothing to regulate their power, it can lead to selfishness. And with God, God is powerful, but what regulates his power is his love. It's his fatherhood. And that's the only way we should look at God. So follow me on my journey to discovering who God is, because this is something that God is revealing to me too. So all of this I'm talking to y'all about, I got this from the book Delighting. It's called Delighting in the Trinity by Michael Reeves. And all these points, y'all, is from him. And that book is amazing. That book really just exposed how I was serving a different type of God, not the God of the Bible. And it's amazing. So I encourage everyone to get that book and to read it. I feel like everyone needs to read that book because I know even the church, as I said before, even Christians don't know who God is. I know that I grew up in the Nigerian culture. Many times we portray God as the Almighty, as the ruler, as a God who's ready to send you to hell. And basically, when it comes to showing people who Christ is, many people try to threaten them with hell, basically. And I believe that that isn't even who God is. Like, that's not real. Like, you can't threaten people with hell. It doesn't really work. I know I was at a point in my life that if you told me I was going to hell, I was like, okay, that's okay. I have a cousin, and now she's agnostic. And if you told her she's going to hell, she's like, okay, with a bag of popcorn. Are you coming with? Like, she doesn't even care. So one thing is that you cannot threaten people with hell. If you want people to really be saved, it's through the love of God. That's what really breaks people. Love. That's what broke us. God's love. Because if God didn't send his only son and just threaten us with hell, none of us would be saved. Jesus said, as I have loved you, love others. So, I hope y'all like this video, and I hope y'all will join me on this series. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!